Hey, this is Kelly from Rojo Chief Clothing, and here I have some examples of channels that I look at, I listen to, and I think you guys would really enjoy the information. They have very good information as in regards to your survival. Everyone should know how to grow their own food, have a garden in their backyard, buy a lot in the city that you reside in if you live in an urban city, or if you live in the suburbs. Grow your own food, because a lot of things are taking place even with the food. Okay, so right here you see the screenshot above. It says CAB, Grand Rising Show. They have a video on here that's talking about the USDA and how to get the money, and how the USDA, they literally have millions of dollars in grant money for you to get for your farm. Okay, for equipment, seeds, whatever it is that you need. Now this is a mother and daughter, and the name of their show on YouTube is Karen and Maya. Now they are into gardening, and they are also into making different recipes. So I suggest you guys go and check them out. Now this channel, Anu Breed, he deals with military tactics as well as farming, which is very important. So I think you guys should definitely check him out. Now another person you should check out is American Indian Prep and Survival TV. So this is a lady called Tommy Bites TV. She talks about farming as well as other things, like things that you should know about that's happening right now. In the Kitchen with Jenny Young, she has a lot of delicious food recipes dealing with soul food and other type of culinary arts. Now, this lady's channel is called Marriage and Motherhood, and she does budgeting. She tells you about the different deals that's at Costco and other grocery stores, and she's also into gardening. So subscribe to her channel, check her out as well.
Retreat, we'll have tiny homes. We really just want you to come and hang out and feel safe. You don't have to worry about the Karens of the world and anything like that. You just come and have fun. We'll have a sportsman area with fishing, hunting, shooting range, ATV trails. We really just want to build a tight-knit community for our people to just come and breathe together. I know they have a bad stigma that, Black people can't come together, but just like how Black Wall Street, their dollars circulated around 11 times before it left the community. And that's just something we want to bring back. We want to encourage businesses to come, and we want to circulate our dollar within the community before it leaves out to someone else. We want to make everybody in our areas wealthy. But every time we go.
Okay, so this community, as you see, it says 19 Black families purchased 96 acres of land for a safe haven. Now, this is a town that different families came together and they bought this land, and they're hunting, they're fishing, they're shooting, they're doing all the things that is needed. Okay, guys, so this is a video. I'll probably have it below, but as you see here, it says something about federally recognized Indian tribes are not subject to federal income tax, which is true. But you can get an EIN number for your tribe, okay, that you create yourself using your genealogy. A real tribe that exists, that you descended from, based on your heritage from either your mother or your father, or maybe both of your parents. Okay, and then you call that nonprofit, you name that nonprofit after the Indian tribe that you descended from. Okay, so right here it says, in this video, I'll show you how to get an employer identification number, or EIN, for your new tribal entity using the IRS online EIN tool. This video isn't intended for other entities who want to apply for an EIN. Before I begin, please know the information in this presentation isn't an official guidance. Federally recognized Indian tribes are not subject to federal income tax. This tax treatment also applies to certain tribal entities that are not recognized as separate entities for federal tax purposes. This includes an organization wholly owned by an Indian tribal government if it's an integral part of an Indian tribal government or certain federally chartered corporations. Though not subject to federal income tax, you will need an EIN if you pay wages, operate your business as a partnership or corporation, or if you're required to file any of these tax returns: employment, excise, fiduciary, or alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Okay? And then I'm skipping down, and it says make sure you answer all the questions for the entity that is requested for the EIN. For example, when the application asks for information for the Indian tribal government, answer based on the information for the entity that needs the EIN.
In this video, I'll show you how to get an Employer Identification Number, or EIN, for your new tribal entity using the IRS Online EIN tool. This video is not intended for other entities who want to apply for an EIN. Before I begin, please know the information in this presentation is an official guidance. Federally recognized Indian tribes are not subject to federal income tax. This tax treatment also applies to certain tribal entities that are not recognized as separate entities for federal tax purposes. This includes an organization wholly owned by an Indian tribal government if it's an integral part of the Indian tribal government, or certain federally chartered corporations. Though not subject to federal income tax, you'll need an EIN if you pay wages, operate your business as a partnership or corporation, or if you're required to file any of these tax returns: employment, excise, fiduciary, or alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. If your business isn't required to get an EIN for those purposes, you may need an EIN for dealing with other businesses, including banks that require an EIN to set up business accounts. You can apply for an EIN by mail, fax, or online. Today, we'll talk about applying online. The IRS only issues one EIN to a responsible party per day. This limitation applies to all requests for all EINs, whether online, by fax, or by mail. The IRS won't issue you an EIN if we've already issued one to your entity. You should have only one EIN for the same business entity. The online application is the preferred method for customers to apply for and get an EIN. The online application process is available if your principal business, office, or agency is in the United States or U.S. territories. Here are some helpful hints and suggestions. To complete a successful online application, you must complete the online application in one session. You can't save an incomplete application and return later. Your session will expire after 15 minutes of inactivity, and you'll have to start over. You can apply online for an EIN by typing irs.gov/EIN into your browser. Then click the Apply Online Now button. The application is like an interview. Select the appropriate responses. Make sure you answer all the questions for the entity that is requesting the EIN. For example, when the application asks for information for the Indian tribal government, answer based on the information for the entity that needs the EIN. You'll find helpful topics, hyperlinks, and definitions throughout the online application. Although this isn't all the screens you'll fill out, we'll go over some of the instructions. The first page asks what type of legal structure is applying for an EIN. If you're a tribe or tribal entity not recognized as a separate entity for federal tax purposes, including single-member LLCs who don't elect to be treated as a corporation, or federally chartered corporations, then select View Additional Types, including tax-exempt and government organizations. On the Additional Types page, select Government, Indian Tribal Governments. Your EIN application must disclose the name and social security number of the responsible party. The responsible party is generally the principal officer, general partner, grantor, owner, or trustor who controls, manages, or directs the applicant entity and the disposition of its funds and assets. Note that if the name and social security number you type for the responsible party doesn't match IRS records, we won't assign an EIN. Enter and verify the physical address and mailing address, if different, for the entity requesting the EIN. Enter the legal name of the entity for which the EIN is being requested as the legal name of the government, Indian tribal governments, when you're requested. Answer the remaining questions as appropriate. Once you've completed the application, the information is validated during your online session, and an EIN is issued immediately. You should then download, save, and print your confirmation notice right away, because this will be your only opportunity to do so. We recommend doing this because the online tool doesn't keep any of your information or the confirmation notice. If you have trouble with the online EIN application tool, you can call the Business and Specialty Tax Line at 800-829-4933. Thank you for watching.
Okay, now you know how to get your EIN for your Indian tribal government. And it says, what is a militia? At the time of an American Revolutionary War, militias were groups of able-bodied men who protected their towns, their colonies, and eventually states. So that's what it was at that time in the 1700s. So they protected the towns, the colonies, and the states. Okay, and these were able-bodied people. And as you know, they said these were civilians, people that weren't a part of the actual military, but yet they had guns in order to protect the United States and the United States territories. Okay, there was, or there, at least there used to be, an EIN number that you was able to get from the IRS in order to start or have a militia. I'm not sure if they still have that available or not, but you can, look it up and see for yourself if they do or not. And also, something else that I found to be interesting was that it said that private militias are not allowed, but they have to be approved by a state or by the federal government. And right here, as you see, it says Second Amendment, right to bear arms, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of the free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And this is a snippet coming from constitution.congress.gov. Okay, so now this is from Codes of the United States, Chapter 12, the militia. Composition and classes. The militia of the United States consists of all able-bodied males at least 17 years of age, and except as provided in Section 313 of Title 332, under 45 years of age, who are or have made a declaration of intention to become citizens of the United States, and female citizens of the United States who are members of the National Guard. It says B, classes of the militia are the organized militia, which consists of the National Guard, and every state has a National Guard, or naval militia. And 2, it says unorganized militia, which consists of members of the militia who are not members of the National Guard or naval militia. Okay. So here it is. It says farmers.gov, and it says at the top the USDA, the U.S. Department of Agriculture. So here they give you the layout of what you need. Okay, it says grow your business knowledge, necessary skills to ensure that you can successfully produce your selected farm products and services. Many local and regional agricultural organizations, including the USDA and Cooperative Extension. Okay, so then those are the links, and it says SCORE. It says offers free mentoring, workshops, and online resources for entrepreneurs, small business owners, farmers, ranchers, and agribusiness. Determine the legal structure of your business. It could be sole proprietorship, partnership, LLC, corporation, S corp, nonprofit, or cooperative. I know in Detroit they have cooperatives, but then some cases you can use a nonprofit. But if I was you guys, I would use it as a nonprofit. If I had a farm, that's what I would do. Since we know that nonprofits, I believe they don't have to pay, or they're exempt from paying federal taxes. But like they said, you get an EIN number here. It says, as a beginning farmer, you will need a federal tax ID number, also known as an employer identification number. Is used to identify a business entity, hire employees, apply for business licenses, permits, and more. And then it says here, it says state tax ID number. Tax requirements vary from state, which is by state, which is true. It says visit the SBA website to learn about your state laws regarding taxes and for specific steps on how to get a state tax ID number. Okay, so that's that when it comes to farming and how to set up your farm. And here, guys, these are some tax write-offs for farmers. It says you have a tax write-off for farming supplies, insurance, repairs, and maintenance, probably to your equipment, the depreciation of your equipment, family employee wages. So that means like your children, if you have any kids, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, any family member that you hired to work the farm, to be a farmhand, any person you have listed as an employee underneath your nonprofit, your home office, truck and car expenses. Okay. So these are some of the things that you can write off underneath your farm from running your farm. Okay, now tax benefits for owning a ranch. It says in California, like every other state, offers property tax break for agricultural land. Specifically, farmers are able to take 20 to 75% off their property tax bill if they agree not to develop their land for 10 years and do so with at least 100 acres. Okay? And so every state have their own rules of how many acres you have to have. If you have to have 100 acres, 1 acre, 2 acres, it varies from state to state. So in conclusion, I hope you have learned about some resources in order to survive what is going on today and what's going to be happening in the future, that you'll start to learn the skills that's needed to grow your own food, to start your own farm using a nonprofit, how to get the money that you need in order to buy your supplies, and such as your seeds, vehicles, other equipment, about the different tax write-offs that farmers and ranchers have, as well as your right to bear arms and what the militia is, and that the Congress and the president, they have the ability to call upon the militia, which are people that are part of the actual military and also able-bodied civilians. Okay? And also that I hope that you also have learned about how to create your own American Indian tribal government and how to go about getting the EIN number from the federal government in order for you to do so. So please check out all these resources, these channels, and see what they're talking about so you can have these very important survival skills. And all these things are like puzzle pieces. You need your nationality as an American Indian because that's what ties you to the land and the natural resources, and that's what protects you, okay? Because you're not a foreigner as an American Indian. You are the aboriginal of the land, okay? And underneath that nonprofit, which is your Indian tribal government, that gives you a thing of protection because the Congress of the United States, they're obligated to you through the Indian treaties to protect you and to protect your homeland, the U.S. military, to protect the United States, which is your homeland, right? And then you have the right to bear arms underneath the Constitution that your ancestors helped write with the Europeans. And then also, like I was saying earlier, that if you don't want to finance the farm yourself, you have resources. And I showed you the website of how to get those resources, how to go about starting your farm and everything else. So if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please share this video. And also, please like this video as well as hit the notification bell so you'll know when I drop a new video. I'm out.